If you were to escape that sweetly scented house of horrors alive and trek for 10 minutes upstream, you would find a small opening in a hillock, around the size of a badger's set. From out of this small and unassuming hole pops a head. It is the size of a human child's, but utterly covered in tangled, filthy hair, with eyes not unlike those of a large cat, and a mouth split wide with viciously sharp, twisted teeth. "Yummy," it says quietly, and pulls itself out of the hole. The rest of its body isn't any sort of improvement on the head. It stands upright, covered from top to toe in the same matted grey hair. It wears a couple of leather belts adorned with small hand-beaten axes, and what serve as its fingers end in large, sharp claws. If that's not bad enough, out of the hole in the ground emerges another creature just like the first, then another, until 7 in all stand around the hole waiting. These are the dwarves, and they're waiting for the witch who lives in their cave with them to appear. After a moment she does, a tall, dark woman in her late 20s, dressed in filthy armour that has been gruesomely adorned with the skulls of small birds and rodents. Getting out of the cave entrance is clearly more difficult for someone of such stature and in practical dress than it is for the dwarves. Once she's out, she makes it yet harder for herself by turning around and delicately pulling a large wall mirror from the hole, utilising 2 grooves dug into the sides of the opening so that it will just about fit. That done, she asks the mirror if it's okay, hefts it onto her back, and sets off, trailing dwarves behind her like a chattering, hairy cloak. This witch, terrible in her armour, is known to many as the White Knight, the spectre of the forest who protects its beastly inhabitants using brute force and a wide selection of deadly blades. Her real name is Snow. You wouldn't think, from the state of her, that she was once a princess. You wouldn't think that she's now the rightful heir to the throne of Messina. You wouldn't think, from how ferocious she and her party of dwarves appear, that they're actually all just off for lunch in the cake cottage downstream. Inside the cake cottage, life is okay. It's fine. It's passable. It would be better if it weren't raining right through the roof. Turns out shortbread isn't particularly waterproof. Several buckets and pans, half filled with rainwater and wet biscuit, litter the floor. One of the pans is accidentally a large pie case, which isn't doing anyone any favours. The whole house made of cake situation is extremely impractical. Any one of its residents would be quick to admit that. It's certainly not a deliberate architectural choice. It's just that its owner is Buttercup, a witch whose only known magical power is that she can turn anything that isn't alive into baked goods, and almost always accidentally so at that. Buttercup has given up on trying to put out pans for the water now, due to the situation with the pie case on the floor, which was very recently a skillet pan. She is, instead, gazing in irritation at her fingers as Jack Trot and Gretel Mudd rush about emptying pails of water. Jack Trot was once believed to merely be a thief on the run from the law. He has since been outed as a witch with the power to grow any plant to any size at will, and has shouldered the blame for the death of a giant due to an unstable beanstalk 13 years ago, and far more recently, a young huntsman accidentally killed in exactly the same way. Much to his relief, he's been exonerated of the death of the giant, who it turns out was actually secretly murdered by huntsmen. He is still, however, very definitely a witch, and did definitely kill that young huntsman, albeit unintentionally. He has apologised to the dead huntsman in question several times now. Gretel Mudd is not actually a witch at all. It's just that so many people now think that she is one, that in the current climate it's safer for everyone.